Okay, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shira David in Efrat, the best place to be. Wow. I'm telling you, this is we have our Nate's Minion and we have a beautiful Likutey after the davening, because the whole idea of Rabbi Nachman writes in Rav Nosson brings actually down in Likutey Eitzis that the best way for someone to be very profitable is to do their mitzvahs b'simcha. Do their mitzvahs b'simcha. You do your mitzvahs b'simcha, you daven b'simcha, you do mitzvahs b'simcha, that'll make you the greatest prophet. And that's why there's so much depression in the world, because the Yetzer Hara doesn't want us to have what we need. So he wants us to be depressed, so we won't have what we want. But we have the right thing here. Baruch Hashem, everyone come and join us. So we're in the middle of, we're in Likutey Halachos, Hilchos Tzitzit. We're in Halacha Hey, and we're in middle of Yud. We're in middle of 10. Baruch Hashem. And we're going to start out with the words over here. Aval acher hachet shepogmu bedas v'nizgarshu megan Eden. After the sin that we said, we spoke about the snake yesterday, that he was Orim, right? And we spoke about they ate from the Eitz Adas Teivera, and then when they did that, they realized that they weren't clothed, and then Hashem made them the garments. Right, Hashem made them the garments. Hashem made the garments, and He sent them out of Gan Eden. They weren't able to stay in Gan Eden. Hashem sent them down to the world from Gan Eden. So in other words, we started out, and really Plan A was man should be in Gan Eden. That was Plan A. Adam Arishon Chava will make the tikkun, the tikkun that could have been made at that time. They could have made the makav patish. Like on Shabbos, you can't do the final blow. Like for example, if you're building something, and then on Shabbos you take you finish the thing off. That's what they call the makav patish. That's the finishing, and that's where you violate the Shabbos with the makav patish. So here it could have been in the positive way. In other words, if they would not have eaten from that tree, if they would have followed Hashem's mitzvah, Hashem gave them one mitzvah. Don't eat from that tree. Eat from anywhere else you want. Do anything else you want. Don't eat from that tree. But they couldn't do that because of the snake and whatever the case was. Again, all these things are really all Hashem's plans. We have no idea. But the bottom line was they ate from the tree for whatever reason it was. That's not important for us right now. Right now they ate from the tree and they were expelled from Gan Eden and they came into the world. They didn't know the way to that tree, the tree of life. Hashem didn't want them to know the way to the tree of life. That's what the Torah says, right? Hashem said He put that angel there with the spinning sword, right? With that double-edged sword that was spinning. There was a spinning double-edged. You're not coming in here. You can't get in here. Hashem didn't want Adam and Chava to go into the Eitz HaChaim or whatever. Okay. But now Ata Ikra Tikkun Al Yedei Bechinas Malbushim. But now the main tikkun is. Now our main repair, how can we make the repair? Through our garments. We can make the repair through our garments. And we said our garments are much more than what we think. They're not just our garments, our shirt and our jacket and our pants and all of that. That's not the garment. We're talking about when we do mitzvahs, we create spiritual garments. Right? We learned that, right? We make spiritual garments. So right now our rectifications are really through the garments. So everything that we're doing, every mitzvah that we do, especially if we do the mitzvah b'simcha, we create the most beautiful garments for our neshamas that'll enjoy for eternity in the world to come. All right, so that's what it's all about. Edei bechinas malbushim. We are connecting back to our Kadosh Baruch Hu, and we make the rectification today through our garments. Shetrichen is karva elav yizbarach. We have to come close to the Rebbe Shalom. Derech kama levushim sheheim bechinas hashvachim va'ta'orim shetrichen daike l'salik hadas l'chazik b'emunah shlema. We have to always expel any thoughts that come in our mind. This falls right in line where we are in Tanya, right? In Perek 27, right? That you have to just discharge all the things in your mind and keep what's on focus. You have to know what you're focused on. How do you dispel things? If you know what you're focused, if you keep the focus right away, if you understand what's my tafkid, what's my tachlis in life, what am I here for? What am I here for? Am I here to enjoy another steak? Am I here to enjoy this taiva, this thing, that thing? Is that what I'm here for? Am I here for a purpose? There's a purpose for me to be here. So anytime we have those thoughts that come in our mind, and we say, wait a minute, what's my purpose in the world? Is this my purpose? Is this why I'm here to do this thing? If it's not, then why am I getting involved in it? That's another idea we can use to keep always focused. What is my end goal? What is my end game? What is my end game? And again, when we're in the middle of when we're any time when there's a battle going on, right? What's the mushal for the nimshal, right? There could be a long battle going on. So there's a war going on. Sometimes there's little battles between different different things, and sometimes one side will win a battle here and there. But the soldiers, their mindset is always to win the war. They want to win the war. They don't care if they win a little, they lose here and there. And that's what we have to always understand. During the day, we may stumble a little bit. But, hey, wait a second, I got to pick myself up, right? Shevet Tzadik Yip overcome, right? Shevet Tzadik Yip overcome. I got to keep getting up. I got to keep getting up because I realize I have a goal. I have a purpose. So that's the whole thing that we're learning now here. Shetzrichin Daikel is Salik Hadas. We have to expel those things from our mind. Chazik b'emunah shalema, only to connect myself to emunah. Ulaharbes b'divrei emunah, and talk about emunah, and recognize Hashem, and just speak about emunah, just emunah. Sheheim kol hashirais v'shizbachais u'tfilas v'akoshay shanu aimim. That's what the whole davening is about. Right? We praise Hashem. We sing. We request from HaKadosh Baruch Hu different things. But why do we do that? Because we recognize it's only Hashem. Right now, the only way we can get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is through our emunah. We don't have any. We don't have neviim right now. We don't have. We can study the words. Of course, and those words are prevalent to us today. Of course, it's very important. But we don't have people that necessarily we can go to today to bring us. So we have to have emunah in HaKadosh Baruch. We have to have emunah in Hashem. That's the most important thing. Not to have emunah, not to recognize it's really all HaKadosh. It's all you, Hashem. That's our main point. Sheru al yedei beira hamadama. And how do you do that? By fixing my imagination. Fixing my imagination. And how do I fix my imagination? I recognize what is my purpose in life. And why would I need to imagine about this fantasy, that thing, this thing, or that thing? Who cares? That's not my purpose. That's not what I'm here for. I'm only here to serve the Rebbe Shalom. I'm here because I want to make my way to Olam Haba. I want to be kirvas elikim li toiv. Being connected to Hashem, that's to me good. That's what's good for me. Do you agree with that, David? Is that, yeah? And that's what it's all about. That's the levushim. Those are our garments. Connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we said, don't forget, we said that really the thoughts are the garments for the mind. Remember we learned that, right? The thoughts, the garment, the mind needs to be enclosed as well. What's the mind enclosed? With the thoughts. The thoughts enclose the mind. Right? So that's how this is connected to garments, how it's connected to the mayach, the medamer, and that's why the tzitzis, and everything is really one program. Ve'ilo alavushin this taknin al yedei tzitzis. And how are you going to fix these garments? How are you going to keep the mind in check? How are you going to rectify the way a person the pathway that his imagination goes down? How do you do that? Through your tzitzis. Look at your tzitzis. Look at them. Like the Torah says, it's kol mitzvahs Hashem. See the tzitzis and know all the mitzvahs of Hashem. Sheheim v'chines hakol hamashkes hagan. And that's again lesson 65, right? David, that's your favorite lesson. 65. The call, the voice that irrigates the gan, that irrigates the garden. And that's the Gan Eden. Shezeh kailecha shemati began v'zeh b'china tzitzis. It's all about tzitzis. Okay. V'zeu shesimim ki erim anoichi. And that's why we end off shesim. That's why it ends off ki erim anoichi. The Adam and Chava recognized. Wait a second. We made a mistake. The only thing Hashem told us not to do, we did that. Wow. He told us to do that. One thing. One thing. And they didn't. So they recognized it. Ended up that they realized that they were naked. Aram Daika, specifically Aram. Why Aram naked? Why is the Kiachshav? I need Sarach Levushim, because now I need garments. Again, these weren't really the Adam and Chava weren't really talking about their regular garments, their physical garments. Adam and Chava was saying that wow, our neshama doesn't have any garments. Our neshama is unclothed. It doesn't have any garments. That's really what they were talking about. That's the story behind the story. Ki achshav ani tzarich levudim. Now I need garments. Al kain chamalta olai v'chazdecha v'himshachta olai or hatzitzis shehu bechinas hakol. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu was so kind, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the tzitzis, which is the or. And again, I told you that Rebbeinu Sefer Torah, right, was written Kosnas or with an aleph, because again he understood the main thing was not the physical garments, but how am I going to make my garments for my neshama, which are the main garments? Those are the main garments. So if I'm walking around in this world with tattered clothes, does that matter? But do I want to have tattered clothing when I'm in the world of truths? Is that where I want to walk around with? Do I want to have pristine garments there? Do I want to have beautiful garments for my neshama? And that's what we have to recognize. We have to recognize it doesn't matter what I have in this world. It doesn't matter. And if I'm serving the Rebbeinu Shalom, that's the most important thing. And I serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'simcha, like we learned in Tanya, right? The whole idea is the simcha. If you stay b'simcha, then your thoughts will be thoughts of happy thoughts. And if you have happy thoughts, and then of course you can dispel all the other things easily, because I want to be joyful. And all the other stuff comes from the other side, is trying to knock me down. Right? You understand? In other words, the other side only wants to bring me and make me depressed and atzvus and atzlus, right? It wants me to be lethargic and lazy and sluggish, right? That's what the Yetzer wants. But if I'm besimcha and I recognize what my goal is, so then I'll be motivated and I'll be energized to do what I'm supposed to do. Emetz Hashem. V'chinas et kalei shemati began. Okay. V'oz acha achet she'osak Hashem yizbarach lesaknam. Also lehem levushim. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, after the chait, very interesting, Hashem makes them garments. What's really HaKadosh Baruch Hu showing them? You need garments. What garments? You need garments for your neshama. Because where did this take place? This took place in Gan Eden. That took place, the whole story took place in Gan Eden.
I thought it was when they got kicked out, he made them their clothes.
No, they made their clothes in Gan Eden. They were still in Gan Eden. Hashem made them their clothes. In Gan Eden, right after the chait.
Kicked them out?
Right after Shabbos. They were there for 36 hours. Those are the 36 candles of Hanukkah. 36 hours. The light. It's all one. Bechinas vayas Hashem elikim vayalvishem. Hashem made them the kosnasa vayalvishem, and He enclosed them. Hashem gave them the or of the tzitzis. What? To recognize that your goal is to be close to me. That was the whole thing that Hashem taught them. You have to be close to me. The Nachash was telling you that you're going to become your own gods and you're going to do everything. Go that way. That wasn't the right way. Don't you see, guys? That wasn't the right way. Hashem makes them garments, which was the tzitzis, to show them that the main pathway is to come to me. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted and He wants from us. Sheim ikar tikkun al-levushim the kedusha. That's the main tikkun of the garments of holy. How are you going to do it? You're going to need your tzitzis. So in other words, people will say, I don't know, tzitzis, why do I need them? In the summertime it's hot and it's uncomfortable to wear the tzitzis. And they tell you all this stuff, right? It's all the Yetzer. Why? Because really you see what a benefit the tzitzis has. The tzitzis has such a benefit to keep us connected to Hashem. The tzitzis is there to help us to be close to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Shul bechinas hakol mashke sagan. That's the voice. It keeps the voice going. And what's the voice? The voice of tefillah. The voice of davening to the Rebbeinu Shalom. The voice of Sishbacha is praising Hashem. The voice of requesting things from Hashem, because you recognize that your only salvation comes from Hashem. Shaydei zeh nimshach haruah areach toiv v'nichna. And that's how you can subdue. That's how a person can subdue the desires of food of the body. The Baal Shem Tov says an amazing thing. All the things he said but one of the things he said, when a person feels that they're hungry, you know what the Baal Shem Tov said?
Your soul's hungry.
He says that really your neshama is hungry. Exactly, your soul's hungry. It's not you that's hungry. It's your soul crying out to you. But we translate it as if our body is hungry. But really, it's the neshama crying out that I'm hungry. Unbelievable. Really, to understand it so deep. That's so deep. In other words, the person says, I'm hungry, I'm going to go make a sandwich. No, I'm hungry, go take out your tehillim. Go take out and do your daf yomi. Go take out and then learn a dvar Allah. Go take out and do the b'mav sedra. That's what your neshama wants from you. Oh, yeah. So that's how, so knows that tzitzis can come and they can help us to subdue the desires of the body for the desire for food. Shu bechinas akev Esav. That's the idea of the heel of Esav. Ve'elu abegodim lovash Yaakov os. In other words, what happened? Yaakov was holding on to the heel of Esau. Why was he holding on to the heel of Esau? Right, because everyone will tell you, because he wanted to come out first, he was trying to pull him back, right? But really, what was he showing him? That in the ikvus of the Mashiach, at the time, the end of time, where we're holding right now, mamish right now, the ikvus of the Mashiach, you got to hold on. You have to be holding on. That's why he was grabbing onto you. You have to hold on not to Esau. You hold on to the Rabbeinu Shlem. So he was holding on to the heel. So kindle my children, you have to understand. You see what I did? When I was an infant, when I was a newborn, I was holding on to this heel. That means when we feel that we're infants and we can't do anything, nothing, we just have that emunah. Just grab onto the Rabbeinu Shlem. Grab onto the tzitzis. Grab onto the tzitzis. Ve'elu abegodim lovash Yaakov os. Yaakov Avinu put on those garments then. Where were those garments from? The garments that Hashem made for Adam and Chava in Gan Eden, that he brought down into the world. So Rivka Imenu had those garments because it was given down to Yitzchok. It was given to him. So Rivka had access to them, and she gave Yaakov to put on those garments. Ki Yaakov tikkun chet Adam Arishan, because Yaakov made a repair for the chet of Adam Arishan. Now you'll ask me, how did Yaakov make the repair? How did he make the repair? Because he had the perfect balance between Chesed and Gevurah. Yaakov Avinu had the perfect balance. He understood how to balance Chesed and Gevurah magnificently to make Tiferes. And he was able to have 12 children that were tzaddikim, and from those tzaddikim came David Malka Mashiach. So that's the tikkun. He was the link to bring David HaMelech into the world. Yaakov Avinu. So that means Yaakov Avinu is the repair for Adam Arishan. Why did Adam Arishan give 70 years of his life? Adam Arishan was supposed to live 1,000 years. He gave 70 years of his life because he understood. Hashem showed him there's going to be Mashiach. And David HaMelech was supposed to be born as a stillborn. He was supposed to be a stillborn. He wasn't supposed to be alive. So Adam Arishan said, I'll give him 70 years of my life. And the Torah says Adam Arishan lived for 930 years, not 1,000. He was supposed to live for 1,000 years. Unbelievable. Right? David, you agree with that?
Of course.
Unbelievable, right? Shufrei the Yaakov, me'ein shufrei the Adam Arishan. The beauty of Yaakov Avinu, is shufra. Shufra is beauty, right? Right. I believe that's how you translate.
Right?
What?
For the face, right?
Yofi. What? He had the same face. He had the same imagery, the same beauty of Adam Arishan and Yaakov Avinu. He was an extension of him, so to say. He was an extension of Adam Arishan. Unbelievable. Kihu himshich hakol, because he. Well, also Shubay can mean the face and also the beauty. He had that same beauty, right. Kiu himshich hakol, because he drew the kol. V'chinas hakol kol Yaakov, and what's that kol? That's the kol that's mashkes hagan, right? Lesson 65. That's the kol that's mashkes hagan, the kol of tefillah. The talking out to the Rebbeinu Shalom is baidus, speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the main voice that we have. That brings up the garments to have a beautiful smell. And Yitzchak Avinu was able to, he smelled the smell of the garments. And what smell did Yitzchak smell? He smelled the smell of Gan Eden. Do we have another minute of it? Mm-hmm. Okay. And through that he was able to subdue the foods of Esau. In other words, Esau was preparing food. So we said that the tzitzis can help put down the taiva of food, the lust, the desire to eat and eat and eat. So what did Yaakov do? Because he had the call, he davened to Hashem in that desperate time. He didn't understand what to do. He was torn. He was torn. My mother's telling me to go take the brachas, but I'm kol Yaakov. We said that the Yaakov Avinu is titin emes Yaakov. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go in and trick my father. How can I do that? He davened to the Rabbeinu Shalom. By him davening to Hashem, he put down the mazah and the gufa. So he put down Esav. He took away the ability of Esav to prepare the food. Because look at this, Esav it took him so long to get his food. Why did it take him so long? Yaakov Avinu was stalling him with his tefillah. Yaakov Avinu's tefillah was stalling Esav. Could you imagine what would have happened if Yaakov Avinu was in there and Esav came in at that moment? My goodness. Right? But so now, how did it work out? How did it work out? Because Yaakov Avinu was davening. Yaakov Avinu had the emunah. The emunah can subdue Esav. The heel of Esav, it can subdue Esav. So he chnio bitel esmach Esav. Shein v'chinis mizayne de gufa. It's actual food. That's what Esav. What's his name? Esav was preparing actual food, taiva, food. Taivas of food, the lust of food, that's all he was preparing. Ve'hevies matamim love of kasha oev, mi pikudin da'asei, ve'loi kasher sonei, mi pikudin de'loi sasei. Look at this. Wow. Kasha oev, mi pikudin da'asei. Yaakov, what's his name? Yitzchok Avinu loved when he did things from the mitzvah sasei, not that he did things from the mitzvah loi sasei. What does that mean? He did from the positive things. He did positive things, right? Yitzchok Avinu wanted Esav again because we said Yitzchok Avinu's whole idea was to make the tikkun. The whole idea was to make the tikkun. He wanted Yitzchok and Yaakov to work together. He wanted Esav to work and support Yaakov. That's what he wanted. But it wasn't working out. That he was taking Esav was really working from the pikud and the loisase. He wasn't working with the assay that he thought that Yitzchok thought. Because Yaakov Avinu's food that Rivka Imenu made, that was mazah and the nishmasa. That was soul food. That's what they call soul food, right? That's soul food. That was soul food, right? How was he say, right?
Jewish.
Mezaynet and nishmasa, soul food. I don't know how to. What?
The real soul food.
The real soul food. Shehik be'oz al mezaynet de gufa. Rivka Imenu was able to make a food that was for the neshama, like the Baal Shem Tov was teaching. When you're hungry, it's really a neshama. Rivka Imenu was making food that was soul food for the neshama, and it was subduing that. Ki Yaakov zocher lehik be'areach hatoy v'adei hakol kol Yaakov v'chinas reach beni kireach hasada. He saw that the smell was like the sada. What sada did he feel? He sensed not the sada, the actual field. As kids, we thought it was the field. The field, that he went out to the field, so you smelled the scent of the field. No, what did he smell? He smelled Gan Eden. He smelled the Gan Eden. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Have a wonderful day. Kol Tuv. Wow.